The alphabet normalization and the contamination of everything. And I don't mean that as just I can't think of a better word. I literally mean the alphabet normalization contaminating everything. And at the recent Davos meeting that just happened, I think it's 2 weeks now, 2 weeks ago, they had an event for the alphabet in media and the normalization of it, pretty much. It was something about rainbow. I don't remember the exact title, but here's a snippet from that before we get into this.
Normalizing LGBTQ folks, including us in all stories. So that's the other piece that I think is really important. And we've worked really closely with Hollywood on this. We are all connected in the LGBTQ community. So we would help you find the right people on the ground to advise you in that culture. It's really important that you're acting within the culture that you're in and you're speaking within the culture that you are. But, and I think it's what you mentioned about getting ahead of it instead of coming behind it, and understanding the cultural landscape and playing out from a PR standpoint what's could happen or not happen, but you have to do it.
All right, so they're specifically talking about, and this is stuff that we've known, it's just confirmation coming straight from the horse's mouth, but they're talking about the normalization specifically in media. There was other parts of that conference, that event, the little speaking, I was going to say speak easy, but that's a completely different thing. The little speech thing that they had going on, where it was, about the rights and making sure that people are educated about it, and everybody's a bigot and all that stuff. But I want to focus specifically on what she's talking about with getting into the media, getting into Hollywood, because that goes down the line of what we're going to talk about. And we're seeing this infiltration, this push of the alphabet agenda into media. We're seeing it in commercials. I don't know about you guys, but almost every commercial that I see now, it has some type of alphabet agenda in there. Obviously, we're seeing it with movies. Every single movie now has to have an alphabet character of some type, or it has to talk about it, and they're getting more and more evil with it by showing more, getting more explicit with these things. Obviously, we've talked about what's going on with Disney, how they're now pushing that alphabet agenda in almost everything. We've seen videos, I've shown clips of the behind the scenes Zoom meetings that they had, where that was their goal, was to make sure every single movie, every single thing that they put out has that agenda in there, and they're paying for their employees to go and get alphabet transition surgery for their kids, not them, but for their kids. That's what they're pushing. We've also talked about the connection between Disney and Epstein Island and all of that stuff. If you want to check it out, I've got that video clip out there on my channel. I go in depth on all that connection and everything. But we've seen that in Disney, and that's all the other kiddie programming out there and everything. We're seeing it in video games now. Video games was like the last bastion. I know a lot of people don't really care about it, games, and they think it's a waste of time and stuff like that. Hey, I'm not gonna argue with you on that, but games was pretty much like the last bastion. It was the last holdout, and now all these games that are coming out are now starting to slip this agenda in there more and more and getting more explicit with it. And then we're seeing it in books and comic books and all that stuff. Now, I know a lot of it may look and seem trivial because it's, that's just entertainment stuff, movies, books, comic books, games, whatever, who cares? But you have to remember, Satan's push, his main focus is not about you. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about corrupting the children. And it's the children who are watching Disney. It's the children who are watching Marvel. It's the children who are reading comic books. It's the children who are playing games. It's the children who are being most affected by this stuff. So while it may seem trivial, it's not. This is a strategic plan by Satan himself to go after the kids. And it's not just that, but we've seen the San Francisco Alphabet Choir. They specifically wrote a song where they said, "We're coming for your kids. We're coming for your kids." Yeah, well, that's Satan's message. That was his basically saying, hey, guess what? I'm coming for your kids. And this is all pushing in that direction. We've even seen things with the GLAAD ratings. I've talked about this, and that was like a year ago, I think. The GLAAD ratings, which is all about, they give out specific ratings for Hollywood if how many movies came out that year that featured a alphabet character and da 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 da. They put in ratings and stuff like that. And now Hollywood is creating specific jobs for not just alphabet consultants, but also to feminize. It is to push the feminist agenda. And I did an entire episode, One World Religion, feminism and denomination. I break down why the feminism movement is not political, but it's actually spiritual. This is a push and a movement by the spirit of mystery, the spirit of mystery Babylon, the whore of Babylon that we read in Revelation 17. She is behind this feminism stuff, the gender neutral stuff. This is a part of that. And so it's not political. Everybody wants to talk about how it's a political fight. It's not. Scripture specifically tells us this is a fight, spiritual fight. It's a spiritual battle, principalities and all that stuff. I can't recite it off the top of my head. You know what I'm talking about, though. And this is what's going on with this alphabet and this feminism stuff. This is that. It's not political. It's not something that Biden does and whatnot. Biden pushes it forward, but it's not some, evil plot by him. He's just a tool that Satan is using to help push this stuff through. And so it's not political. This is spiritual, and they're using this stuff to attack the children. And we understand this only scratches the very top of Hollywood's satanic agenda. I've talked so much about Hollywood. Everybody knows it's evil. Everybody knows it is a cesspool of wicked, evil darkness in there. But we still can't just overlook it as just, oh, Hollywood's evil. Let's see what else is going on over here. No, because what they're doing is branching out and it's leaking. It's like a cancer. Like I said with Pete last week, it's a fungus, just like AI, a fungus that continues to spread and infect everything. What's coming out of Hollywood is doing the exact same thing. Because again, while we may see it as trivial, these kids look up to these actors and actresses. They really, really shouldn't, but they do. And that includes the ones like Chris Pratt, who says he's a Christian, but he pushes the alphabet agenda. I almost said something I shouldn't. He pushes the alphabet agenda just like everybody else because he comes from the Church of Hillsong. So there's a warning about Chris Pratt. Just because they say they're a Christian doesn't mean that they are. And how he acts and what he says clearly points in a different direction. But what's coming out of Hollywood, we see with Tom Hanks, if you want to dig into that. Don't eat before you do, because Tom Hanks is one of the most vile people in Hollywood that you will ever see if you want to dig into that. Things with like Ellen DeGeneres. Again, she's just as bad as Tom Hanks. The Disney Epstein connection, et cetera, all that stuff. You can go ahead and dig into it. But this is what's coming out of Hollywood, to give you an idea. Now we've got something else coming out. Now, just like when I talked about Balenciaga and the Ukraine child trafficking and all that stuff, I'm not going to show any pictures on this stuff. I'll be honest. I actually had to talk to my brother Matt here, my brother in Christ Matt, because last night when I was doing this stuff, I had to come. I basically just told him, man, I don't know how much more I can talk about this subject, because the things that I have seen, they take a toll on my soul. There's so many things that, even when I talked about Balenciaga, that was like a month ago, over a month ago, those images that I saw still haunt me. It is really, really bad. And so I'm not going to show you guys any of the pictures or anything like that. So don't worry about that. I'm not going to show you any of that stuff. But we've got a new photo from Jamie Lee Curtis, where she posted a picture from her house on Instagram, and on the back wall there was a photo in a frame. It was on a picture in a frame up on her wall. It showed a naked child, not even teenage years, crammed awkwardly into a box filled with water. Now, if you've seen any of my videos on Balenciaga, Gorsid Kiev, any of that stuff, that would not surprise you in the least. But she revealed that she has that picture on her wall. She then, like a day or two later, took down the post after being called out for it and then posted a thing up there. She lied about it, saying, oh, it was her friend, that it was her own photo that she gave to it. No, it's not. The photograph actually comes from a photographer by the name of Betsy Schneider, and the photo is from her Sweet is the Swamp 1998 through 2014 series. So she lied about it, and she got it from this very, very sick photographer. The series also contains more photographs of children, half naked, naked, in positions just like we've seen with all the other ones with Balenciaga and Gorsiv and all that stuff. There's also a series on her website called Via Skype. The pictures on there are weird screenshots over Skype between her and kids and teenagers. A lot of these kids are half naked and in very weird positions. So that's also on her website. Taking a look at other photographers who seem to be connected to Betsy, because if you dig deeper into it, she's also done collaborations with other photographers. We take a look at these other photographers that are connected to her, and we come across one by the name of Timothy Archibald. Hang with me, guys. Under his personal projects album, because if you go to his website, he's got different albums that you can see, but under his personal project albums, it's not even some like a regular series. This is his personal stuff. You will find more images of naked and half naked children and just weird and disturbing photos in general. I'm not going to get descriptive. I'm not going to show you anything. I'm not going to get into it any further than that. Just trust me when I say it is not good. It is not good. For this next part, I toned it down as much as I could, but I do want to say little content warning here. Also under the personal projects tab, under his personal projects thing on his website, is a page called Sex Machine Archive, but is actually password protected. In order to get into that, you have to have a password. That's concerning, but if you find his book under the same title, which I found listed on Open Library, in the description, under the first line section where they give you the first sentence of the book, I'm not going to read the entire sentence, but basically under the first sentence section, it talks about a workshop cluttered with kids' bikes. You can kind of figure it out from there. So a lot of people are thinking, okay, you're talking about some photographers. You have to remember these photographers are all connected to Hollywood people, just like we saw with Jamie Lee Curtis, who she denied and lied about it, which that's clear as day. It's also connection to the fashion industry and the pictures that they take. You have to really understand how all these dots are connected, how everything is interweaved together. This is when I'm talking about them coming after the kids, this is specifically what I'm talking about, is Satan wants to destroy the purity, destroy the innocence of children. And he knows if he can get to the children, he can get to the parents as well. And we're seeing that today, where look at the houses now of people in their 20s and their 30s, even in their early 40s. How many households are run by the children? Think about that. How many households are run by the children? How many the children do whatever they want? The parents are more fixated on being a friend to their kids. If Satan can destroy the innocence of a kid, if they can destroy the purity of the kid, if they can corrupt the child, they can corrupt the entire house. It's the same thing with when I talked about in that One World Feminism episode. The woman is so important. There's a reason why God structures the order. The family order, the patriarchy is just like how God structures the church, where it's the men are supposed to be pastors, the women take care of the hospitality, they take care of the children, they take care of each other. That's why there's no women pastors. There's not supposed to be. And then there's the children underneath. He structures it in a specific way because the man is supposed to take the brunt force. He's supposed to be there to protect the woman. And the woman's there to protect the children. If you can go after the children, if you can go after the woman, you can then get the man from there. There's a reason why Satan is attacking certain things, and it has nothing to do with one's more valuable than other. It has nothing to do with one's weaker than other. The man has specific strengths. The woman has specific strengths. And he understands in order to get the man, you have to go for the woman. And it also, if you get the woman, you can go for the children as well. Same thing works with getting the children to get to the women. There's a specific way that Satan is working and getting into these things. So by him going after the kids through the media, through the drag shows at the churches and the schools and the events and all this stuff, he's able to corrupt the entire household. And that's why I talk about with the feminism thing. If you start teaching women that they can take the man's place, has nothing to do with value. I just want to make sure I put that across because I know a lot of women get angry at this, but has nothing to do with value. But if you take the woman and you put them in the position of where the man is supposed to be, you just throw the entire thing out of whack, and there goes the household. And that's what we're seeing now with this alphabet agenda. That's what we're seeing now. Because when you destroy the household by teaming up two men and two women, it all falls apart.